Okay, another Charlie Parker one. Gone by the time I think he was 34 or 36. Absolute genius. When you mix, people throw around the word genius very easily these days, but when you mix that talent with hard work, then you get something special. And he certainly went through a couple of sets of neighbours whilst doing the hard work. This is a 2-5, still in the key of F, G minor 7 to C7. Let's see what happens. And again, once more, so it's in your head. Beautiful phrase. Okay, let's see what's going on. The first and last 16th will be the same as eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3. And again. So what's going on? Let's see. This is a really cool trick. Sometimes when you have a 2-5, you can just keep lowering the root. Okay, so on G minor, you'll hear things like... You could do exercises like this. So you'll see this is happening, right? At the top. I'm just outlining by these notes what's happening here. Let's do it with a separate hand. You see what I mean about the top moving, right? That just gives you some movement on a 2-5. It kind of has a harmonic function as well, because when you do that, and then you do this, it's like a D7 with a sharp 5 or something. So that's the dominant of G minor, and then you go back, you get a G minor 7, and then a C7, right? So it has that sort of harmonic function. When you have a 2-5, instead of just going 2, 5, sometimes you can imply the dominant, the D7, going back to the G minor. In other words, G minor, D7, G minor, C7, by going G minor, D7, G minor, C7. You can improvise like that, but this implies that, because this feels like D7, right? G minor 7, C7. You'll hear the Latin guys, of course. Or at the top. Or all kinds of like... all kinds of little patterns that are always about this sort of movement. That kind of business. It's all about movement on a 2-5. So there are several tunes and several solos that use that trick. Let's look at what he's doing. See where he's doing this kind of thing. It's slightly disguised. There's the G. Then it goes to F sharp. Then it goes to F. Then it goes to E natural. So all those things are in there, right? It's not in a perfect rhythm the way I showed you before, but it's what's happening, right? So let's clean it up so it's a bit easier to read. Ignore the turn first, the 16ths, and then add them in. So what happens is we'll take the first and last like that. So we have G minor triad, down a G minor with a major 7, if you like, okay? Where the root has moved down a half step, like we said. Now what's happening? That is a surround. Just move the cursor out of the way. That's a surround. Semitone above or half step above, half step below. And you could think of this as a scale note or a half step above. So he's surrounded the third exactly like that. So what you end up with is Okay. Now with the 16th note turn, in this one he goes like that, right? Just up the chord and back. So with a 2 chord, you can actually comp it like this in your left hand. Okay. He's putting the C7. I've written the C7 earlier. Let's see. I'm happy to put the C7 a bit later. You can probably hear I'm doing that. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So the C7's right on that last note where the cursor is. Okay. So we're dealing with, remember, the minor triad, where the root keeps moving. So if I want to do this on D minor 7 to G7, it'll be like this. Because that's going to be my 2 chord, right? The root's going to move. Still D minor. And again. Now we're about to approach G7, and we surround the 3rd of it with half step below, half step above, half step below, and then up to the G itself. Okay, you end up with the same phrase. Can you see how these things can give you warm-ups to do, never mind adding to your improv? Of course, if you learn them, and learn them well enough that sometimes they come out of your fingers in real playing, or that they give you ideas that you can build on that become your own. Fantastic. But even before that stage in your playing, use them as warm-ups, use them as little transposition exercises, just finding stuff, right? There it is with the 16ths. Okay. What you might do is practice playing something fixed and then improvising afterwards, so it's different each time. Or getting to it. Improvising the end, whatever. Make them your own.